Awesome. Okay, great. We're all set up now. Welcome everyone to SkiStrong Virtual Round 3. Today for equipment, I have a mini band as well as a long band. However, you can get away with no equipment for today's workout. So I'll give you just a second to grab those two pieces of equipment if you don't already have them. And we're going to get going. Today's workout, we're going to have a very similar structure to our past workouts. So we're going to have a warm-up series of exercises where we'll go through 4 different exercises and we'll repeat each of those 4 exercises 2 times through. And then we're going to go ahead into a strength circuit, and our strength circuit has 3 exercises, and we're going to try and repeat that one 3 times all the way through. And then we're going to finish at the very end with a little cool down stretching at the end. So we're going to get ready. We're going to jump right into it. So we're going to start with a little bit of a skier balance exercise. And in the past couple of training sessions, we've done our warm-up exercise as skate skiers. This time we're going to do it as classic skiers. So you're going to balance on one leg. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going opposite arm, opposite leg. So notice how I'm really trying hard to balance on one leg. And as I bring my knee up, I'm bringing my opposite hand up, and this really challenges my balance, very similar to classic skiing this time instead of more like skate skiing, which is what we did in the past couple of weeks. Nicely done. We're just going to go a couple more times on this side before we switch to the other side. And we're really trying to focus on trying to stay in a balanced position as much as possible. There you go. Let's shake it out. Let's switch over to the other side now. So again, opposite arm, opposite knee. So I'm driving my right knee up and my left arm is going up with it. If you're having a hard time with the balance, slow it down a little bit and feel free to touch that back toe down to the ground so you have a little bit of a point of contact. And if you're feeling more confident, you can add a little bit of a bounce at the top to really try and challenge that dynamic stability or dynamic balance. Nicely done. Awesome, you can shake that out. I don't know about you, but I always feel like my hips and my calves really work to maintain balance. We're gonna warm up the upper body now with some shoulder swings. So we're gonna start, I call this one my shoulder series. And I like doing this one to really make sure that we warm up the upper body in addition to warming up the lower body. So we have 5 different arm swing motions we're gonna go through here. If you want an extra challenge, you can hold on to some small weights, but this is good to do without weights as well. We're gonna meet at the top. We're gonna come and swing down in the front and overhead. So we're coming sideways now. Nice, and you want to challenge your range of motion all the way up overhead and then back down in front of you. Good. Some of these ones are more challenging than others, but this one is a nice way to warm up here. And we're going to meet at the top. We're going to do a back crawl. My hips are staying pointed forward and my upper body is doing all the rotating. So notice how I'm not opening up my whole body. I'm trying to keep my hips still pointed forward and I'm feeling a big rotation in my upper back and my shoulders. There we go, good work. We'll meet at the top. We're gonna go W, overhead press. So here we are just pressing the arms straight up overhead, and we're imagining if we were against a wall, our hands and our elbows would stay against the wall. So you want to avoid doing this in front of you, and you want to try and push your elbows back to be in line with your shoulders as much as you can. Nice, and last but not least, I call this one the archer to finish off. Hands are in front, and we're, again, keeping the hips pointed forward, and we're pulling the shoulders back as far as we can, alternating left and right. Pulling it all the way back, feeling a really nice opening in your chest muscles. Good work. And there we are, nicely done. We're gonna come to grab our mini band. So if you have a mini band, that's awesome. If you don't, that's okay. We're gonna put the mini band around our knees so it comes just above the knees. And then we're gonna come down into a half squat. And so if you don't have a mini band, that's okay. You can just join me in the half squat here. We're gonna bring our hands in front of us, pulling our shoulder blades back and down so we're not rounding forward in this position. Pulling the shoulder blades back and down. And we're gonna go sideways. So we're gonna go out and then together, staying in that low squat. Now I don't have a lot of space here, so I'm just gonna go back and forth 2 times in each direction, and then I'm gonna do that 5 times, so that I get a 10 on each side. If you have more space, feel free to go and kind of move 10 in each direction. So here we're trying to stay in that low squat, trying to stay with our shoulders back. And we're gonna keep those glutes really working to keep that band taut as you push it out. Nicely done, we're almost at 10. Here we go, last couple. If you're keeping count with me. And there we go. Awesome, you can take that mini band off and we're gonna come on down to the ground. I got my hands and my knees on the ground. However, if you want a challenge, you can lift your knees 1 inch off of the ground, but you can keep them right on the ground to start. Core is strong, pulling the hands towards the knees to create tension in the core. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and this is our bird dog. And we did this one last week as well. So if you found that last week this was a nice introduction to the core exercise, that's awesome. If you feel like you want to take it up a notch because you got the hang of this last week, you can lift knees 1 inch off the ground, and you can do that same exercise with just a little bit of increased difficulty there. We're going 10 on each side, and then we're going to start back at the top of our warm-up circuit in just a moment. If you're keeping track of me, I've got 1 more on each side. Here we go. Awesome job. So we're going to jump right back to the top of that warm-up circuit so we can find that good balance position again. And if you struggled with your balance that first time, you want to try and think of the middle of your belly button, the middle of your chest. You want to try and keep those vertical as much as possible. And it's just like in skiing, you want to think about really kind of pushing your hip over so that you can get your belly button as close to over top of your foot as possible. From here, you can do it nice and slow, touching your toe down behind you, keeping the core and the glutes working to maintain that balance. And if you're feeling more comfortable, you can add in a little bit of a hop to get a little bit more challenge for the dynamic balance. Nice. As always in skiing, balance is so important. If you want to be able to glide comfortably on your skis, you need to be able to work on your balance. So this is a great way to integrate some balance work into your routine. Let's switch sides. Again, middle of my belly button as much as possible over top of my foot. And here we go. Core and glutes are engaged. So my gluteus medius, the side of my glute is engaging, my core is engaging, and those muscles are going to help me balance in this position. Here we go. And again, if you find yourself losing balance, that's okay. Take it down a notch just for a second, and then find whatever level of difficulty is good for you today. Awesome job. All right, there we go. Let's shake that one up. Our next one that we have is our shoulder series. So we're going to come back. If you want to have some light weights in your hands, this one is where you can increase the difficulty there. Otherwise, we're going to go right back into that. Arms swinging up overhead to begin with. And you want this to feel kind of like a nice stretch in either end range. You don't want to really throw and force and feel like you're really jamming your joints. You want to feel like it's a nice dynamic movement through the full range of motion. Good. Let's switch it up. Hands are overhead and then down by your sides. And if you find that there's a little bit of stiffness, especially when you start to get overhead, you can really slow the movement down and try and push gently through a bigger range of motion at the top. If you feel pretty flexible and pretty comfortable with this range, you can move smoothly through the whole thing. Let's meet at the top. Let's go for those back crawls, big range of motion through the shoulders and chest. And we're keeping the hips locked forward so that we're not moving by rotating our hips, we're moving by rotating our shoulders and our chest. Nice. This might feel like a really nice stretch in your pectoral muscles, your bicep muscles. These are muscles that tend to get tight when we're doing endurance sport or even when we're just sitting at our desks working all day. Good, let's meet at the top. We're going to go for our W's. So again, feeling the elbows pull back, feeling like they were against a wall. If you had a wall behind you, you could do it like as if you were against a wall. That's where you want to have that range of motion. Good. And we're going to meet with the hands in front of us. We're gonna pull back into that archer stretch. Big range of motion. Again, the hips are pointing forward, but you're really rotating through the shoulders and the chest. Nicely done. Everybody. All right, let's grab that mini band. If you don't have a mini band, that's totally fine. You can do this without the mini band. If you have the mini band, you can put that around your knees, and we're going 10 times in each direction, dropping down to that squat. Remember, pulling the shoulders back instead of rounding forward here, keeping that good posture as low as you can, and we're going sideways. You want to try and keep your toes and knees pointed forward as you're doing this exercise and taking as big steps as possible. Really kind of pushing the end range of how much you can get those glutes to extend your leg and staying nice and low. Good work, everybody. You can check in with yourself. Are those shoulders back and down? Are you low enough in your squat? Keep honest with yourself on how hard you're pushing yourself in your warm-up here. You're doing great. That's it, we're almost there. Just one more, 2 more inside if you're keeping track with me. Keep track with yourself. We're doing 10 reps on each side. There we go. All right, band comes off, and we have one last warm-up exercise that we're taking down to the ground whenever you're ready. So again, we're gonna come down to the knees on the ground, hands on the ground, applying tension as if you're pulling your hands towards your knees. If you want the challenge, you can lift your knees 1 inch off the ground, or you can keep them on the ground. And we're going bird dog, opposite arm, opposite leg. You want to try and challenge yourself to keep your core as neutral as possible. So you want to try and avoid arching your back as you're doing this exercise. And you want to also avoid trying to round. So you want to kind of keep a straight line. If I were to put a ski pole on your back, it would touch the head, the shoulders, and the hips all in a straight line without kind of coming to rest on the shoulders or the hips without touching the rest. Good work, everybody. Just a couple more. I have to admit, I always lose count a little bit when I'm talking and exercising. So hopefully you kept track of 10 for yourself. I'm gonna do 2 more on each side and call that my 10. And here we go. Awesome, so hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more warmed up, and we're gonna jump into our strength circuit. So, the first bit of our strength circuit today is WYTs, and we've done this before, but we're going to do a little bit of a different perspective to how we were doing WYTs. So you're going to want to take your band and find a place to attach it, whether that's on a doorknob, a banister, or I've got a pole right here in the middle of my basement that I like to attach my bands to. Now last week when we were doing the WYTs, we were doing 10 times just 1 pull back and then repeating. This week what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 10-second hold. So each position we're gonna do 3 times, and when we get into that position, we're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. I'll help you keep count. And we're gonna really focus on pulling the shoulder blades back and down for those 10 seconds. So I'll count you guys in here. We're gonna go for the W first. So W is elbows down, hands up. And we're gonna count that for 10, 9, feeling the shoulder blades pull back and down, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. We're gonna go for Y next. This one is more challenging. So we're gonna really try and pull the shoulders down as we reach the hands up, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep feeling the shoulders pull away from your ears as your hands stay up to the sky. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. The T is the last one here, so thumbs are up, hands come out to shoulder level. 10, 9, 8, 7, shoulder blades pull back and down, feeling the whole upper back engage. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're gonna repeat that 2 more times. W, here we go, 10 seconds. And when you're doing this W, I want you to really think about, again, pulling the shoulder blades back and down while keeping the hands up. Holding for still 3, 2, 1. Good, let's go Y, up overhead, 10 seconds here. try to keep those shoulders away from your ears. So if you find yourself shrugging while you're trying to hold this, pull that down and really focus on pulling the shoulder blades back and down your spine. 3, 2, 1. T, here we go. Thumbs up, hands out to the side. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time through. Here we go. Right back into that W. Hopefully your upper back is starting to feel like it's burning a little bit with this movement. It's definitely a lot harder than it looks here. We're still holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back. Y, up overhead, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And last but not least, that T. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Whew, that was a good shoulder workout. It doesn't seem like too much when you're just looking at the movements, but adding the band in, adding that hold in, it really stimulates having to hold a contraction for an extended period of time. We need those muscles working all the time when we're skiing, so it's good to get them used to that. Our next exercise in our strength circuit is a single leg deadlift. So we're going to not add any weight to this initially, but if you have weights and you feel like you want to add them, you can. We're going to keep the hands either at the hips or out by your side, and we're going to do a hip hinge. So you want to try and think in this movement, we're making sure you're not rounding or extending your back, and you want to think about sending your hips back behind you. So this is our single leg deadlift, and this is a really challenging balance exercise. If you're a more experienced athlete and you feel confident with your balance in this position, you can add some weights in your hands. You can grab a medicine ball or you can grab whatever you have accessible to you. We're going to do 10 of these on each side. But if you're feeling this is a challenge with your balance, you want to really think about engaging that gluteus medius and your core muscles to feel like those are the muscles that help engage that balance. Another good thing that you can think about is watching your knee and how your knee is reacting. So you want your middle of your knee to be over the middle of your foot. So a lot of people will find that their knee will start to cave in, and once their knee caves in, they'll lose their balance. So really focus on your balance through here. You might also feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Let's switch sides once you get to 10. So this exercise, when you add the weights, it's really going to target your glute muscles and your hamstring muscles. Even with no weights, you're going to find that there's some pretty big stretch in your hamstring muscles if you're tight there, and a little bit of work to bring yourself back up as well. Good work. We're going 10 on each side here, so work at your own pace. We'll get a couple more in if you're keeping pace with me. We're almost there. And again, if you're finding that your balance is a challenge, you can always slow the movement down. If you feel like it's more confident with the balance, you can speed the movement up. All right, here we go. Last exercise for our strength circuit. We're going to find a spot on the ground. Lots of modifications here. So the first level of difficulty is my bottom knee down on the ground, my elbow down on the ground, and then from here I'm coming into a side plank, and then I'm going to lift my leg. So I'm doing these side plank leg lifts, and I'm trying to bring my foot as high as I can, but I want to try and make sure that I'm doing this as if I had a wall behind me and my heel was staying against the wall. Now if this is like a big challenge, keep it here. If you want to make your exercise a little bit harder, you can come up onto the elbows and the feet or the hands and the feet and do your side plank leg lifts from that higher up position. But again, if you find that you're really not able to lift your leg when you're in that higher position, come on down, bring that bottom knee down to the ground and do your leg lifts from that lower position. We're going to do 10 on each side. I was having a hard time keeping count there while I was talking. So once you're done 10, we'll switch over to the other side. And if your modification, even if it's too challenging to keep that bottom knee down while you're doing your leg lifts, you can always have your hips down on the ground, but you challenge yourself to lift your hips up off the ground, engaging the core muscles to keep your hips off the ground. So your point of contact is your elbow and your knee, hips up off the ground, and you're trying to lift your foot up as high as you can. And again, we're going 10 of these on each side. You keep track of your reps here, trying to move at a slow but consistent pace. And then once you're done, those 10 on each side, we're gonna come back to the top and we're gonna repeat that circuit. So we're gonna grab that band. This time we're just gonna do 2 sets instead of 3 of those WYTs, just to make sure we can finish our circuit on time here. So we're gonna go 2 times through those 10-second holds, starting with our W. So pulling back the W, feeling the shoulder blades pull back and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands forward, relax a moment, and then we're going overhead for Y. Shoulder blades back and down, keeping those shoulders away from your ears. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then T, thumbs up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to repeat that one more time here. Elbows down, hands up, W. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down, hands up into the Y. I find this one the hardest one. So challenge yourself to pull those hands up as high as you can. Keep working hard, challenging yourself here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And last but not least, we have our T, thumbs up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, good work. You can let go of that band. We're coming back to our single leg deadlifts. So we're going to keep on going into that idea of sending the hips back behind us, keeping the torso nice and neutral as we lower down. So I like to think that I'm trying to get my chest to be parallel with the ground as much as possible. You might find that your hamstrings are a little bit too tight to get you into that low position. So only go as low as you can, keeping your back flat. So if you can feel yourself rounding your back, trying to thinking about touching the ground, we want to avoid that. We want to just try and keep a body position that permits us to have a nice straight back. You can even add a little bit of a challenge here if you want to, if you find your balance is pretty comfortable and confident with this. You can go down into your deadlift. You can try rotating up to the side, squaring it back down, and then coming back. Obviously that's a much more challenging balance challenge, but you can give it a try if you want to try opening it up, closing it down before coming back. Let's switch sides once you get to 10. Going back to that other side, and again, you can keep track of what your knee is doing here, and your knee will give you a good idea of how well you're engaging your glutes to do this exercise. You want to have your the middle of your kneecap tracking over the middle of your foot, and the best way to try and get that to change is by using your gluteus medius to really pull that knee out and into alignment. Nicely done. And again, if you're finding that you're rounding your back at all here, keep on thinking about those same muscles we just used in the WYT. Those are the muscles that'll help keep your back straight. So you can even come into that W if you really need to focus on pulling those shoulder blades back, or you can have your hands up at your side or by your hips. Nicely done, everybody. Once you're done 10, you can shake it out. We're going to come back down to this side plank with leg lifts whenever you're done. So again, the modification either from the elbow and the knee, or from the elbow and the toes, or from the hand and the toes. We're going to try, though, and keep the hips up off the ground. So you can see from here, if I'm keeping my knee on the ground, I'm lifting my hips up off the ground instead of keeping them down on the ground. Try and get that engagement, lift those hips up, and then do your leg lifts. Nicely done. So holding the hips up off the ground and doing those leg lifts from there. Nicely done. Excellent job, everybody. You might feel your abductors, the sides of your legs really working. You might feel your core on the bottom side really working. You might feel your glutes really working. Those are all things we're trying to target with this exercise. Once you've done 10, you can switch over to the other side. And again, we've got options for modifications here. Pick your level of difficulty and go ahead. Awesome work. One thing that I sometimes like to do with this exercise is put my hand up in the sky. I don't want to have like my hand reaching back or reaching forward. This is just to help me feel that my shoulders are stacked and square when I'm doing this exercise. Nicely done, everyone. Again, we're going for 10 on each side. Maybe your legs are starting to burn, maybe your core is starting to burn, but you're crushing it. You're doing great. Awesome job, everybody. We're gonna do that one last time together. We're getting strong. We're getting ready for ski season. I hope you guys are getting excited as I am about the snow that's on the ground in Ottawa-Gatineau. I went for a guilty little ski last night in the Gatineau Park. There wasn't much snow, but it was still fun. Here we go. This is why we work out. We work out for those moments when we want to go out and ski and feel strong while we're doing it. Let's drop those elbows down, hands up. 10 seconds in that W position. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Hands overhead. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. We're just going to do that one time this round to make sure that we're sticking on track with our timing. We're going to jump right back into those single leg deadlifts. Again, stability through the hips, trying to keep that core nice and strong, neutral back. If you're feeling like you're getting more confident with this movement, you can speed it up a little bit. A good tempo would be 1, 2 down, 1, 2 up. 1, 2 down, 1, 2 up. But if you're feeling like your balance is a little bit more of a challenge, feel free to slow it down so that you stay in control. And if you want to try that extra balance challenge where you open up your hip before closing it down, you can definitely throw that one in there too to try that out. Again, we're going for 10 on each side, so counting your own reps here. I'm almost there. Once you're done 10, you can switch over to the other side. Here we go. 10 reps on that other side. If you're feeling more confident with the movement, really feeling the glutes and the hamstrings work to pull yourself back up, 1, 2 down, whoops, and 1, 2 up. If you're challenged, or if you're finding this too much of a balance challenge, you can slow it right down. However, if you're feeling nice and strong with this movement, you can try and increase the tempo a little bit. Again, that 1, 2 down, 1, 2 up is a nice tempo to kind of keep yourself with. Good. Once you've got those 10 on each side, you can shake it out. Our last exercise for today, finishing up our strength circuit, elbow down on the ground, either knee or foot on the ground, and we're doing those side plank leg lifts. 10 times on each side. Here we go. Good work, everybody. Pulling in to the end here, last little bit of effort as we're going. If you need to modify as we're going, definitely feel free. You have those options to modify as we keep going here. And once you've got 10 on one side, you can switch it around and do 10 on the other side. And again, you have all those modifications available for you, whether it's knee on the ground, foot on the ground, hand on the ground. You can give them all a try to see where your level of challenge is for today. Once you finish that 10 on each side, you can give yourself a sigh of relief and you can give yourself a pat on the back for getting through another SkiStrong workout today. Nicely done. We're going to finish off with a little bit of a stretch. For this stretch, you'll just need maybe a wall or something that you can put your hand up against. And we're going to stretch out our pectoral muscles a little bit here. Again, we mentioned at the beginning, pectoral muscles can be really tight from endurance sport or from sitting around at home on a computer. We're going to put a hand up against the wall. So my elbow is at about my shoulder height. My hand and my elbow are both against the wall. I'm going to keep my elbow and my hand fixed to the wall, and I'm going to turn away from my hand so that I end up with my arm farther behind me. So again, I'm starting with my elbow and my hand against the wall. My hand is flat against the wall, my elbow is against the wall, and then I'm going to try and turn away from the wall, and I'm going to feel a little bit of a pec stretch. So my pectoral muscles are the chest muscles here. You can hold that for 20 to 30 seconds, and then we'll switch over to the other side. And again, just to explain, even if you have like a door frame or a post, that can maybe make it easier to set up for this exercise. So if you have a door frame or a post, you can put your hand, your elbow inside the door frame, and then you can pull yourself away from the door frame. So I'm ending up with my hand behind me, and I'm feeling like I'm pulling my shoulder back behind me. You can, again, hold that stretch. It's a really nice one for postural muscles. So good work today, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed virtual SkiStrong round 3. We have SkiStrong virtually running through October and November, so we have another month left in front of us. Feel free to check out our programs and events calendar to join us on Google Meet or to join us on Instagram Live. More programs are listed at 2x4coaching.com. We'll see you guys later.